Sir Keir Starmer announced last week that all United Kingdom citizens are to have mandatory ID to prove their right to live and work in the country, which will be kept in a wallet similar to that of Apple Wallet or Google Wallet. The Prime Minister argued that ID cards will ensure that United Kingdom's borders are more secure, but the plan drew criticism from Labour's political opponents, including the Conservatives, Reform UK, and the Liberal Democrats. While the success of the scheme remains to be seen, the government has stated that it is going to use the best aspects of digital IDs already being used in a handful of countries, including Estonia, Denmark, and India, in its design. In the European Union, physical ID cards have existed for decades. In fact, barring 2 of the EU's 27 member states, physical ID cards in a standard, machine-readable EU format introduced back in 2021 are used both as identity documents in citizens' home countries and for travel within passport-free Schengen zones. The 2 exceptions are Denmark, which uses the Digital Identity and Authentication app MITID, and Ireland, which issues passport cards. However, by the end of 2026, the EU is hoping to roll out the Digital ID or the eID wallet, which it states is Europe's answer to the challenges of identification. The wallet will enable citizens of all EU member states to access online and offline public and private services, store and share digital documents, and create bonding signatures. Large-scale pilot projects are currently testing how the EU Digital Identity Wallet will function in a wide range of situations before it is launched across the EU. Over 350 companies and public authorities across 26 member states, as well as Normandy, Iceland, and Ukraine, are participating. In France, the France Identity app allows citizens to combine their identity cards, driving licenses, and vehicle registration documents in a single application. According to the State Bank of Vietnam, the purge targeting accounts lacking biometric verification or flagged as inactive, leaving 113 million of the country's estimated 200 million accounts active. The change stems from new regulations requiring mandatory biometric checks such as face scans for both account opening and certain online transactions. Foreign residents have reportedly faced added difficulties as in-person authentication is required and remote options are limited. Vietnam's move is not isolated. In 2022, some Chinese rural banks froze depositors' funds without a warning. While in the United States, banks and law enforcement regularly freeze assets during investigations. In the United Kingdom, account freezing orders and anti-money laundering rules can result in sudden account closures for compliance reasons. A notable example occurred in Canada back in 2022 when authorities used emergency powers to freeze both bank and Bitcoin accounts linked to protesters, often without judicial review. Authorities argue that measures deter fraud and financial crime, but critics say that they expose the risk of centralized control. Swiss voters have narrowly approved a plan to introduce voluntary electronic ID cards. With all votes counted, 50.4% of those who voted stated yes to the approval, while 49.6% rejected it. The closeness of the ballot is a surprise. Opinion polls has suggested that 60% backed digital ID, which also had the approval of the Swiss government in both House and Parliament. It was Switzerland's second vote on digital IDs. An earlier proposal was rejected in 2021 amid concerns that data would be held centrally and controlled largely by private providers. Sunday's revised proposal keeps the system in government hands. Data will be stored only on the smartphones of individual users, and digital IDs will be optional. Citizens can continue to use national identity cards if they choose, which has been standard for decades in Switzerland. To further ease privacy concerns, a particular authority seeking information on a person, such as proof of age, nationality, for example, will only be able to check for those specific details. It comes after the UK government announced plans earlier this week to introduce its own digital ID, which would be mandatory for employment as part of its efforts to curb the number of illegal immigrants living and working in the country. The proposed British digital ID would have fewer intended uses than the Swiss version, but has still raised concerns about privacy and data security. Supporters of the Swiss system say it will make life much easier for everyone, allowing a range of bureaucratic procedures from getting a telephone contract to proving you are old enough to buy a bottle of wine to happen quickly online. Opponents of digital ID cards who gather enough signatures to force another referendum on the issue argue that the measures could still undermine an individual's privacy. They also fear that despite the new restrictions on how the data is collected and stored, it could still be used to track people and for marketing purposes. Switzerland has a long tradition of protecting its citizens' privacy. The banking secrecy laws, now much diluted, were designed to shield an individual's personal finances from prying eyes of the state. For years, Google Street View was controversial in Switzerland, and even today, following a ruling by the Swiss federal courts, images taken close to schools, women's refuge, hospitals, or prisons must be automatically blurred before going online. In January, then President Joe Biden issued a sweeping executive order, or an EO, strengthening and promoting innovation in our nation's cybersecurity, which includes a direct mandate for federal agencies to prioritize privacy-preserving digital identity systems, mobile driver licenses, or MDLS, and electronic identity documents were explicitly mentioned as key components in his last-minute modernization push. For the first time, the White House officially recognized digital identity as not just a convenience issue, but a fundamental pillar of government service delivery and cybersecurity resilience. The Trump administration's apparent decision to maintain EO 14144 indicates an acknowledgement of the importance of strengthening cybersecurity measures, even if the broader approach of digital identity and privacy may differ. The Trump administration, however, has neither promoted nor expanded upon the digital identity initiative outlined in Biden's EO. There also has been no significant public communications or policy development from the administration regarding the implementation or advancement of privacy-preserving digital identity systems. The lack of emphasis suggests that while the order remains in place, it may not be current priority for the administration. Still, the landscape of digital IDs for government services has continued to evolve just unevenly. Both federal and state governments have advanced initiatives to bring digital identity systems online, with privacy, security, and user control principles at its core. But even as the infrastructure is being built, significant challenges remain around adaptation, interoperability, political will, and public trust. At the federal level, Biden's executive order tasked the National Institute of Standards and Technology, or NIST, with issuing formal guidance on how federal agencies should evaluate and accept digital credentials. This move came after years of pilot programs and limited Transportation Security Administration's, or the TSA, testing on digital IDs, but without a central federal strategy. This is all I'm saying, and I'm not trying to, come through, conspiracy, alarmist, all of that stuff that you normally see online. This is all I'm saying is that with a lot of the implementation with these things, along with the AI and a variety of other things, like I said before, I'm a tech guy. There are positive implementations that can transpire. There are very positive things with it, right? But at the same time, when you have those in power that seek control pretty much over everything, over every single facet of life when it deals with human beings, you have to take a step back. And you have to look, and you have to try to figure out any and every which way that they can potentially try to use this as a means to have further control directly over the people. And again, those people over there in the UK, they don't really have any rights. They don't got the same things that we have over here in the United States. But as I stated before, with a variety of videos that I've talked directly about, we're heading directly into that time, into that moment of which that you have the government trying to test and see how far it is that they can reach, how far it is that they can go before they get any type of resistance. And if there is no type of outcry, no type of resistance or anything like that, then, you know, everything is going to happen as it is supposed to happen. That also means that everything that you decide that, hey, I want to spend $2 directly on something, whatnot, or whatever, it could come to a point in time where the government's like, hey, we see that in your account you spent $2 to $5 on something. Where did that money specifically go? Who did you spend it with? And what specifically did you buy? We're just, you know, wondering what that is, because we can clearly see it on this ledger or whatnot, or whatever, that you spent this money. We want to be able to keep track of all of the money that's leaving in and out. Right now, again, to a lot of people that would sound like conspiracy, but I want to mention to people that it wasn't that long ago during the pandemic of which that people were having their accounts closed because providers, banks or whatnot or whatever, did not like the fact that American people with their American dollars, of which they, you know, 9 to 5 or whatnot or whatever, they decided to spend it on cryptocurrency. And whatever providers, don't matter if it was, you know, credit card, banking, whoever, they were like, we don't like how it is that you are spending your money or where it is that you're spending it, so we're just going to close down your account. And again, that was those providers that did that. Those also the credit card companies that did that. And now you're looking at a point in time where the government can basically have the all-seeing eye directly on you and be like, oh, we noticed that you're buying some stuff, you're buying some other type of stuff here, yeah, we don't like that, and we're going to stop you from being able to do it unless we say that you can do it, and we're just going to stop you from being able to make any and all transactions. We're encroaching directly, you know, on that time. And I hope that people are able to witness and see this. I hope people are very much paying attention, because again, this is happening directly in 4K. And the thing that I've told people before, even during the pandemic, whatever you see Canada, the UK, and Australia doing, I can guarantee you that sooner or later you're going to see it here in the flesh in the United States. The same way that I try to tell people about the hypermarkets, right? These far off futuristic markets where you can use a cell phone and go directly into, all they need is your identification and your bank account information, and you can just freely go directly into the market and it will just subtract the things from your bank account. Again, we have those markets starting up slowly but surely in different parts of the United States. I've brought stories, you know, surrounding those markets somewhere about within a 3-year time frame that I've tried to give out that type of information directly to people so that they can see what the future in a sense entails. Because what's going to happen is that once a lot of this stuff really starts to just come forth, people are going to be caught out there like a deer in headlights, and they're not going to know what to do or how to move and all this other type of stuff. So, you know, anyways, let me know what you guys think about this video and everything. Now listen in the comment description below. And as always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.